Welcome to your Daily Revolution podcast. Today's topic, navigating uncharted territories, the purpose of life. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
My name is Setema, Gali, the founder and creator of the Prosperity Revolution, a global movement that helps you to get out of scarcity and into prosperity every single day. A movement where people have value, things do not, where money is a result of helping people, where you're rewarded for creating value for others, and where prosperity is not the result of luck, but a predictable steps and formulas, and where happiness is the ultimate goal.
What is up, my friends? Welcome to the podcast. Grateful to have you here. Thank you for listening. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I'm shooting this in the middle of December, and man, I'm so grateful. Life's amazing. So let me just drop it down to you, right? Like, as a young child, especially as a guy, I can't speak for women necessarily in this arena, but as a man, we have this instinctive wiring of, I got to go provide for my family. And look, this podcast is really kind of a snapshot of why I've been so spotty and streaky in shooting podcasts. Like, typically I was doing a number a week, and it's like kind of one or two every month. Why? Well, as a young child, we have these goals, and we want to be the best, and we want to win state championships if you're an athlete, and we want to be on the podium, the top number one spot. And, you get out of high school, get out of college, and then comes a time where it's like, okay, I've got to go figure out how to provide for a family, pay bills, put food on the table. And there's this piece inside of me that's always been, well, when I get here, when I get to this spot, when I make my first 6 figures, when I make my first 7 figures, when I drive this car, when I get my passive income to this place, when I marry the beautiful, perfect woman, which I have. Okay, when we get our first home. Okay, when I get this, right, there's all these benchmarks and these milestones. And I grew up just like subconsciously, there's this thing inside of me that when I get this thing, then it's going to be like, oh my gosh, because we set goals and we go out to, we trust processes and we do it a certain way and follow systems and blueprints. Well, I'm 45. This year, we made the trek from Southern California to Destin, Florida. Business is good. Life is good. And it's like, I'm in the craziest spot of my life right now. Not that I have $1 billion in the bank, but more so it's been like, okay, I'm here. We've run hundreds of events for clients, intense immersion, Pro Rev Live, Certified Master Coach, Purpose, Clarity, and Legacy, just so many events where we coach and teach and train and we liberate leaders. And in my mid-40s, I've gotten a little bit comfortable. Now, why have I gotten comfortable? Because I've kind of hit some of these goals that I've been reaching so hard for. And, people talk about freedom. And, not freedom like with governments and tyrannical mandates and things like that. I'm talking about financial freedom and time freedom. And this is typically people who it's like this carrot that's out in front of us. Man, what you're really working for is time freedom. And you're really wealthy when you can do what you want when you want, right? That kind of talk. And then I kind of look back over the last 6 months, and not that, the last 6 months have been tough for us. We've been living in Airbnbs and our home is being renovated. It's a beautiful process. A lot of lessons learned. I won't do this again, that's for sure. But I've kind of been in the space where it's like, okay, this is new territory. I got a business. I have different side hustle investments. I got an awesome team and great partners and just an amazing team. Wife, beautiful wife, best friend, got my sons. I love the car that I drive. It's just a Toyota Tundra, Voodoo Blue. I love the big car. I don't know if I'll ever get a luxury car again. I like getting in and out of my car, up into my car, getting down from a car. Our office space is great. Could it be bigger? Sure. But I've been in this space of it's just uncharted territory. And maybe some of you listening to this, You're like, I don't get it, right? Because I've always been driven to succeed and driven to close the deal and driven to be the best. I've always had this hard wiring to just outwork people and to hustle and to grind and to set goals and to be my best and to strive for excellence and to chase greatness, right? All the personal development, little one-liners. But I'm in a space right now where it's like, okay, what's the game? What's the real play here? What is the real play? And it happens because when you get some time and you get some money, and again, please don't mistake this, right? I want to make sure I just really say this out loud. I don't have $1 billion and I don't have millions of dollars in the bank. No, not at all. But we've done well for ourselves. And so there was a point in my life where I always had to go, always, right? 2011, we're broke, we're bankrupt, we have no money. And my wife's like, I think you should go knock doors for a living. I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. And I had to go because we needed to put money in the bank account. Like we needed it. We absolutely had to. And I did that for 2011, 2012, 2013. And then I felt very called and inspired to come do what I do now. And I had to. Yes, I wanted to, but it was a new industry. And again, I'm providing for my family. So then I start coaching and putting Facebook videos up and using social media. This is back when still kind of the wild, wild west. I could put up a post, do a call to action, have 10 or 12 people call me up and give me their money. It was very easy back then. And then we started running events and I was speaking on stages. And I remember just thinking, if I could just get on that stage. And then I got on a stage with Gary Vee and Damon John. The same stages that Tony Robbins speaks on. Well, if I could just do my own events, and then we've done hundreds of our own events. Well, I could just get a client to pay me like $50,000, then it happened. $75,000, then it happened. $100,000, then it happened. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, if I could just, and it's like everything that I was going for, I got. I take my boys to school. I take them breakfast every morning. We're in an Airbnb, so I drop my oldest off. He gets himself and his cousin breakfast. I go pick up breakfast from my two younger ones, take it home, place it on the stairs, and I come to the gym. Well, I'm at the gym shooting this right now. I take my wife out on dates. Like we're not worried about paying bills. We're in a really good spot. And so this is uncharted territory. It's like, what's the purpose of all this? It's like, all these things I said I was going to do. When I do this, when I get there, and all of a sudden it's like, okay. And it's different right now because I'm in a space where I don't have to. I just don't have to. And it's a very different motivation right now. And motivation is probably not the right word. It's a different gear. Like when you have to go provide for your family, man, I'm telling you what, I can create the most beautiful stories and I can go and I can get riled up and motivated and inspired and I'll go hunt and knock and close and do the work and I can burn the midnight oil. And, it's really, really interesting. Is give a man time and money where he doesn't have to go to work, where he doesn't have to do these things, where he doesn't have to. And again, I know there's some people out there. I can hear you now, all the gurus and the personal development. Like I'm in your industry, so I get it. You gotta have purpose and you gotta be motivated and you gotta have legacy. I mean, damn, I teach legacy. Talk about legacy. Yet at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so really, again, what's the purpose of this? And it's one thing to teach it when you are striving and you're on that mountain. It's one thing when you're on like climbing the mountain. It's another thing and another gear and another motivation when you don't have to do it. Now, some of you out there, maybe most of you, I don't know. I can't assume anything. But I've never been here before. Even in my mortgage days when we had great money, I was still very driven. Right, externally driven, like, oh, it's the car. I'm going to go get this car. I'm going to get this thing. And again, recently I've been on one of my buddies has a private jet. We were on a couple different jets in one day and it was really cool. But even then still, it's like, okay, like really, like for real, what am I really trying to do with my life? Have you ever been there before? Have you ever just stopped and looked at your life and said, man, life's amazing. Like life's really good. This is incredible. Wow. Amazing. Have you ever just been there in that space where you don't have to? And for the first time, you're at this place of real choice. When I say real choice, my son has school in the morning. So even if I'm dead sick and puking out my guts, if my son has school or especially practice, guess what? I'm getting up. I have no choice. I'm taking him to school. I'm taking him to practice. He doesn't have cleats. I got to go back to the house and get the cleats, or I got to go buy a pair of cleats. But I will, come hell or high water, I'm going to do what's required because I have to. But when you don't have to, then what will you choose? This is this conundrum I've been in for quite some time, and it's been a beautiful process because I know there's a lot of men and women out there who are going through this. And it's been amazing to just step back and ask these penetrating, fierce, piercing questions. Who am I? And what is the purpose of my life? And what is the real purpose of my life? What's the real meaning of, okay, I make more money. Great. I got more money. Okay. I got money in the bank account. Great. Now what? I got more money in the bank account. Great. Now, okay, I got a new car. Great. Now I can travel this way. Great. Now, okay, now what? At what point is okay, that's nice. Okay, then I can write checks to people. It's crazy. When we first moved here to Destin, I'm like, Waffle House, that is the most disgusting. Heck no. Ain't going into Waffle House. It's gross. And now you'll find me at least once a week scrolling into Waffle House, getting the same thing every time. I don't know when something changed. I'm like, I like this. It's just this old diner, greasy food. But every time I walk into Waffle House, now every time, without fail, I walk in, I scan the room, and I tell them, hey, give me their check. And we'll always pick up, there's usually some single mom, and I don't know if she's single, but she's just there with her kids, young kids. And I'm like, give me their check and we'll pay for their bill every time. And we tip $100 at least once a week. I'm tipping big. Well, big is relative, but when the bill's $30 and you're tipping 100, that's a lot of money for the server. And so it's what's the purpose of this all? And then you go to social media and there's, everyone's, hey, look how amazing my life is. And I know social media shows the most amazing highlight reels. And for a lot of people, it's their journals. It was for me for a long time. I was posting 6-7 times a day. I was breaking records and real content. And then what? And you get to a point where if you do it right, you'll get to a point where you'll have some real choices. See, you really don't have choices, you can choose, but when you have to, you have to. There's no choice. If you don't go work, your family starves. But what happens when you build that passive income? It's this weird thing, right? All the time we're always taught passive income, and then you go get some real estate, then you do some crypto, then you do some stocks, then you do some investing, then you got some different businesses that just pay because you got some good evergreen funnels and then what? This is really where you're going to have to dig deep because all of this, right, all this purpose and this legacy, it's really here. Now here's please don't get mad at me when I say this. It's all a construct. It's all made up. It's just this made up stuff. And people get mad when they hear that. No, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. Tony Robbins, all that stuff he teaches, he's made it up. He's put words to it. Jim Rohn made it up, put words to it. Same thing with Setema. It's we have these certain rules and agreements and principles. Yeah, they might be truths, no question. They may work, but still, when you say the purpose of my life is this, what you're really doing is creating a purpose. When I knocked doors and we were broke and I had this holy cause of my wife and children, well, it was easy to do that because if I didn't, the consequences would be we'd starve. My wife would, well, she wouldn't leave me because that's not who she is, but she'd probably not like me. And my kids would grow up thinking, man, my dad's a freaking loser. I didn't want that. So the opposite side is go work, which leads me back to, again, just what's the purpose? And I always go to principle number 8 in the 13 principles, which is the purpose of existence is eternal expansion and value creation. If I can boil it to those two things, grow and serve. Grow myself, my mindsets and my skill sets and my tool sets, align my heart set and my soul set, like align those things, and then serve. Just serve. Serve, what do you mean? Like serve and impact people, make a difference. Because I can tell you right now, if it's just about accumulating stuff, you're in trouble. I know. I remember when Jim Carrey said, I wish everyone could just make hundreds of millions of dollars so they could just realize that that's not the answer. And when you hear that and you don't have that kind of money, you're like, well, that's easy for you to say, Jim Carrey. But there is some truth there. There's a lot of truth there. There has to be more than just I earn money. There's contribution and there's giving back and there's making a difference and there's being a kind human being and there's like giving where when you have a lot, you got to give. And my boys keep seeing us lay down big tips in restaurants, pay for people's meals. I show them what we donate to our church and tithing and fast offerings. I'm not afraid to show my boys bank accounts either. Like this, again, I could be wrong. And maybe some, PhD says, you're going to mess your boys up. I don't know. I just know that I want my boys to know this is how we do, right? Like this is how we do it. This is how your dad does it. And, teaching them all the life lessons and how to be a great human being, how to just be so kind and not soft. So my question for you, for those who listen to this today, is there more than just accumulating stuff? And the answer is yes. If you are so set on when I get this passive income and I get this dollar amount in my bank account, if that is it for you, I promise you will get there and you will be sorely disappointed, very sad, and very empty. Like you have to simply become a person. Well, let me just talk about that. You'll become sorely disappointed, empty. Why? Because those things cannot fill. The brand new car is really cool. It is. The brand new jet is really cool. It's amazing, right? But those are just byproducts and results of something else. Of what? Well, of you being a type of person who can produce. But then what? Is that it? No, I'm telling you right now from my personal experience and having coached thousands of men and women, there's more to life than just the stuff. The stuff is important. Yes, it is. But what is it? And have you just take on and have you consider a life of contribution, a life of making a difference. And really, here it is. You ready? After you get nothing else, get this. A life where you really get to decide what it all means. Like you get to decide the purpose. You get to decide what it means. Yes, you, my friend, like you. Because the meaning of life, right? If you ever go to a landmark forum, there's this phrase in there. They say the meaning of life is that life is empty and meaningless. And that is also empty and meaningless, which means you get to determine the meaning and the purpose. For me, the meaning is, or the purpose is eternal expansion and value creation. I got to grow and I got to make a difference. And if I feel like my path to happiness is going to be more money than anyone else, then I can do that. But as one speaking from experience, that stuff cannot satisfy. It never will. So this is where, and again, I know some of you may never get there, where you just buy your private jet and buy your brand new cars and have 8 or 9 figures in the sitting in investments. But you can get to a point where you'll realize that's just not what it's about. It can't be the only thing. And what it really comes down to is your ability to grow and to become and then to make a difference for other people. When you figure that out, and you figure out that there's so much more to life than just achievement and accomplishment, that there's really this thing called alignment with your purpose, alignment with your core truth and beliefs, alignment with what you truly value, and that you'll always be growing, and you're climbing a mountain that has no top. And then once you hit those levels where one thing used to motivate you and inspire you, you're going to have to get to another level where like those won't do it anymore. And then you have got to take it to another level. I know this was a little bit different than most of my podcasts, but I enjoyed shooting it for you. Listen, if this made a difference for you, shoot me a message. Let me know what your thoughts are. And until next time, have an amazing day, my friends.
This is your daily revolution. Live in prosperity, we show you how to do it. There's no luck about it, we got the strategic blueprint. This is your daily revolution. You already know. And if you don't, then check my resume. Turning pressure into possibilities every day. Y'all can win and live our unique purpose. We change our mindsets and put the work in. This is your daily revolution. Daily revolution. Revolution. Your daily revolution podcast.